Era Online had just gone live, while everyone else rushed toward the popular classes. This man locked in Berserker without hesitation. Warriors were nothing like Sword Saints, who had clean, flashy slash effects. They also could not throw out dazzling long-range spells like mages. Their only real advantage was a bigger health pool, forcing them to charge into the front line and brawl with their lives on the line. So, in the eyes of most rookies, this class was basically a one-way ticket to death. But Lin Jie, who had returned from the future, knew better. In the late game, Berserker would become the most terrifying abyssal blood demon god in the entire game. In his previous life, Lin Jie had followed this exact path. He had nearly reached the #1 spot on the whole server. Unfortunately, during the final battle, his enemy used hacks to kill him by force. The next second, the system's emotionless voice rang in his ears. "You have been killed by Bailey Changcheng. The loser's account will be permanently deleted, and all assets will be transferred to the victor. You have lost your eligibility to play. The system will now restart." At that moment, all Lin Jie felt was pure frustration. But when he opened his eyes again, he had somehow returned to the day before the game launched. The instant that cold system voice fully faded, Lin Jie jolted awake on the floor. Why was he back in his own room? Just then, his door slowly opened. "Bro, are you lying on the floor trying to cosplay a corpse?" Lin Jie's eyes widened in shock, because the person standing in front of him was his younger sister, alive and perfectly fine. But in his memory, she had become a vegetable after that car accident 3 years ago. After that, she could only stay alive through machines in the ICU. And all the prize money Lin Jie had earned from gaming had gone into her crushing medical bills. Yet now, she was standing here, completely unharmed. Lin Jie sprang up from the floor and grabbed his still confused sister. "Are you okay? Are you supposed to be lying in a hospital bed?" His sister shoved him right back down. "Mom, big brother stayed up all night gaming and fried his brain. Weren't you the one sitting in front of the TV last night, waiting for the game to launch? Why are you pretending to have amnesia now?" Lin Jie stared at her in shock. "What launch? What's the date? What year is this?" His sister looked at him like he was hopeless. "Today is the public beta launch of Era Online, idiot." The moment Lin Jie heard that, his entire body froze. June 22nd, 5 years ago? Holy crap. This was not a hallucination. He had really come back. The despair and hatred from being betrayed and killed by Bailey Changcheng still felt like they were carved into his bones. But who would have thought that this time, fate would actually hand him another chance? Both his real life and his game had been reset. This time he would stand at the very peak as Era. So Lin Jie did not hesitate for even a second. He dumped every cent he had saved from 3 years of part-time work into the most advanced gaming helmet, ready to fight his way back. What made Era so special was that this VR game evolved alongside time and the player's mental state. Back then, the moment it launched, it set off a worldwide craze. Its hyper-realistic immersion and breathtaking virtual world pulled countless players in completely. In his previous life, Lin Jie had been known throughout Era as the undying war god. He did not rely on money or top-tier gear. With sharp judgment and almost insane effort, he used ordinary equipment to pull off elite-level plays. That was why players praised him as the absolute peak of technical skill, and among ordinary players, his reputation was sky-high, and he had been only one final step away from becoming the strongest player on the entire server. But Bailey Changcheng, the man Lin Jie once treated like a brother in life and death, eventually bowed to the power of money, became the enemy who betrayed him, and cost him the title he had chased for so long. Lin Jie still could not figure it out. When had Bailey Changcheng started planning to betray him? And what had pushed him that far? But thinking about it now would change nothing. Instead of drowning in old resentment, he had to seize this second chance and make sure every regret from his past life never happened again. Soon, the system notification rang out. "Welcome to Era. Please select your in-game class." This time, Lin Jie would start from zero alongside players all over the world, exploring this endless, unknown, and breathtaking ultimate world. In his previous life, the developers of Era Online had never released any guides or preview content in advance. Every player entered the game completely blind, forced to explore and debate everything on their own. But for Lin Jie, a veteran from 5 years in the future, Era barely had any secrets left. Routes, exploration methods, leveling plans, all of it would become far easier for him. This was his top-tier advantage, and no one else could copy it. The king of pure skill was about to return. Yet, in the newbie village square, other players were still mocking him. Someone actually picked warrior? Are they out of their mind? That was right. Even after being reborn, Lin Jie still chose warrior without hesitation. 2 years ago, his close friend Bai Li Chengcheng had once asked him what class he would choose if he could start all over again. Lin Jie had answered without the slightest doubt. Warrior. No question. Bai Li Chengcheng had burst out laughing. Warrior is the kind of class only bottom-tier players pick. If you really want to experience the strongest way to play, you should choose swordsman like me. Elegant and deadly. Back then, Lin Jie had looked at that handsome face and could not help roasting him. Damn it, handsome people really do get away with anything. But none of them understood that Lin Jie had always been walking the warrior's unique growth path. No matter what challenge stood in front of him, he showed terrifying endurance. The stronger the enemy, the hotter his fighting spirit burned. Only someone who had crawled back from the edge of death deserved the title of Undying War God, and only a player who had survived hundreds and thousands of battles without ever dying could truly unlock that hidden title. That was the real condition for becoming the Undying War God. The warrior's greatest natural advantage was its massive health pool. Even with poor equipment, it could survive a fatal strike from a minor boss. More importantly, after completing a special hidden quest, warriors could advance to a hidden class. That was the exact path Lin Jie had chosen in his previous life. The Berserker class that could turn health directly into combat power. When pay-to-win whales picked classes, they only cared about insane damage and flashy appearances. Mages, swordsmen, hunters, and assassins naturally attracted huge numbers of followers. Because of that, on the streets of the newbie village, 8 or 9 out of every 10 players were using those damage-focused classes. But they had no idea that during the early stages of the game, when monsters had brutally unbalanced stats, those classes could barely stay alive, let alone maintain steady damage. Warriors, on the other hand, had unmatched survival ability right from the start. As for their lack of damage, that weakness could be fully covered by deep knowledge of the game's mechanics. Just then, a system notification suddenly sounded in Lin Jie's ear. Quest 1, First Arrival. Please report to Odalet in Meltown. Time remaining, 5 minutes. The moment Lin Jie heard that name, his eyes lit up. I can't believe I get to see that old guy again. Now that brings back memories. Just then, someone suddenly stepped in front of Lin Jie. Hey, trash warrior, you bumped into me. Blocking his path was Balai, a paladin player who had already reached level 2. Trying to pass through here? Then, in the name of the holy light, I'll charge you 1 copper coin as a toll. Paladin was one of the favorite early game choices for pay-to-win players. It had damage, healing, and control, making it an all-around class in the opening stage. Yet, only half an hour after launch, Balai had already reached level 2. Clearly, right after creating his character, he had spent money on a starter EXP pack. Then, he used his early level advantage to bully people around the newbie village, blocking roads and collecting protection fees. Anyone who refused to pay would get attacked. But in reality, people like him knew nothing about the actual game mechanics. His gear and level did not match real strength at all. In plain terms, he was just a paper tiger acting tough. Among the optional rewards for reporting in as a new player, the best value was 10 copper coins. So even if someone paid 1 copper as a toll, it technically would not be a huge loss. But Lin Jie's gaze instantly turned cold. Why should I hand free money to you? Balai roared on the spot. Because I'm stronger than you. Delete your account and start over, idiot. But the moment he drew his longsword, Lin Jie moved first and clamped down on his wrist. Balai's expression changed dramatically because he realized he could not use any strength at all. Lin Jie said expressionlessly, "Grip enhancement is one of the warrior's starting talents. It strengthens finger power, makes it harder to lose your weapon while holding it, and increases resistance against disarm effects." Cold sweat immediately formed on Balai's forehead. Don't tell me you picked that trash-tier skill. Just to hold your weapon tighter? What's the point of such a useless talent? Lin Jie smiled faintly. To you, maybe it really is worthless. But to me, this is the strongest talent. As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Jie applied just a little force with his fingers, and Balai's sword dropped straight to the ground. Balai was so scared that tears and snot nearly came out together. Disarm? You actually disarmed my weapon with your bare hand? This talent, which almost every player treated like trash, could actually be developed into a shockingly valuable combat technique. Grip enhancement allowed a player to block normal attacks barehanded. Its effect would keep growing as the strength stat increased. Once the user's strength surpassed the opponent's, it could even directly trigger a disarm effect. Lin Jie sighed inwardly. The fact that this level 2 paladin could be disarmed so easily proved that Balai's strength stat was probably even worse than in ordinary newbies. He had not invested any points into strength at all. He was a complete rookie through and through. And Balai would never know that later in the talent progression path, grip enhancement would become one of the most important top-tier talents in the warrior system. Titan's Grip, the advanced form of grip enhancement, was a god-tier talent famous for letting players swing a dragon-slaying greatsword, which normally required 2 hands, with just 1 hand. But to unlock that progression route, the player had to choose grip enhancement as a starting talent during character creation. Just then, the watching crowd suddenly stirred. Whoa! The guards are here, move aside! Balai's eyes lit up, and he immediately shouted at the top of his lungs. You're finished. Causing trouble in a safe zone means the guards will execute you on the spot. In the name of the Holy Light, I swear this guy named Lin Jie attacked someone in public. The level 10 guards in the newbie village had absolute overwhelming power over level 1 and level 2 beginners. But Lin Jie only chuckled and admitted it directly. That's right, I did it. Seeing Lin Jie admit it himself, Balai instantly shouted even louder. See, he admitted it. Hurry up and punish him hard. But the guard did not move at all. He simply said in a cold voice, defensive action, no punishment. As soon as the words fell, the guard rushed straight toward Balai. Balai immediately panicked. Hey, what do you mean? What does defensive action mean? Wait. I paid 100 grand. I'm a VIP. Lin Jie simply watched the scene play out with ease. In a safe zone, whoever attacked first and caused trouble would be judged by the system as the unjust party. The other side could hit back as hard as they wanted without receiving any punishment. Just then, a system notification suddenly popped up. Paladin Balai has paid Lin Jie 1 copper coin in compensation. Lin Jie raised his hand and caught the copper coin flying toward him. He rolled it between his fingers and said calmly, apology accepted. Looking at Balai and his lackeys, whose faces had turned dark with rage, Lin Jie could not help teasing them again. So, are you planning to drop a few more copper coins for me? Or are you going to move aside like good boys and let me pass? Balai and the others were so furious they were practically grinding their teeth, yet there was nothing they could do to him. Only then did Lin Jie stroll into Meltown and make his way to Otelit's residence. The system interface lit up again. Quest 2, First Arrival. Speak with Otelit and claim your beginner reward. Lin Jie slowly sat beside Otelit and said in a low voice, long time no see, Otelit. Otelit studied the young man in front of him. Young adventurer, do you know me? The game has been live for less than 24 hours. Lin Jie smiled feebly. More than that. Otelit, we're old friends. If I count it right, it's been 5 years. Otelit looked at him with suspicion. Adventurer, you must be joking. But that does not matter. Since you followed the quest guide and came to me, you are qualified to take your beginner reward. Please choose 1 reward. You may only pick 1. The nearby players immediately started whispering. Even an idiot knows he should pick money. Sell those 10 copper coins on the black market, and they'll be worth at least 100,000. But Lin Jie slowly raised a finger. I choose the 4th option. Otelit's eyes widened in disbelief as he stared at him. The other players instantly started roasting him. Is this guy insane? Is he hallucinating? Where did a 4th option even come from? At that moment, Lin Jie slowly spoke. The campfire before dawn will go out twice. Otelit's entire body froze. Lin Jie continued. When the dark moon sinks into eternal night, the Forgotten One shall cross the crack of time and return. What reignites in the ashes is both the fading ember of the old god and the first light of a new era. Otelit, do you still remember the code you gave me back then? On that night, 5 years ago, Lin Jie had completed a hidden quest and protected Otelit's family with his own hands. Back then, Otelit's voice had been choked with emotion. Lin Jie, I truly don't know how to repay you. I'm only a beginner guide NPC. I really don't have any proper gift to offer. But even if there is only 1,000,000 to 1 chance, if one day you ever need my help, say this passphrase to me. Even if the system makes me forget you. Even if my identity is changed into someone else entirely, once I hear that code, I will remember that you are my savior. Now, tears shimmered in Otelit's eyes. Lin Jie, you must be someone incredibly important to me. The next second, the system notification sounded. Hidden quest conditions fulfilled. Otelit gazed at the young man before him, his eyes filled with both shock and gratitude. In that case, everything here belongs to you. The moment Lin Jie opened the hidden returning player reward, the system notification rang out again. Obtained 1 initial talent stone. After use, it will unlock 1 additional starting talent. The players watching from the side instantly exploded. That's a custom talent stone you can't even buy with real money. Lin Jie tightened his grip around the talent stone and paused for a moment. If he wanted to become the strongest in his life, he had to perfect every step from the very beginning. This hidden quest was the key chance he needed to overturn his fate. so he chose Sword Oath as his second talent. Odolet suddenly raised his head and looked at him, his expression turning extremely serious. This talent was created by the legendary sword saint Kelsimer. Those who take it will be recognized as Sword Oath bearers and gain extraordinary mastery in sword techniques. But the price is that you may only fight with swords for the rest of your life. Are you truly sure about this? Lin Ji answered without the slightest hesitation. Of course I'm sure. After saying that, he turned and prepared to leave. Otelet watched him walk away, then suddenly added, "What is truly powerful has never been the sword, but the one who wields it." Lin Jie paused for a moment, then looked back with a faint smile. "Thank you for the gift, Otelet." As he walked down the road, Lin Jie thought to himself. In his previous life he had not unlocked his second talent until level 30, but in this life, he had obtained it right from the start. His combat ability now far surpassed players of the same level, and his leveling speed would skyrocket because of it. He was one step closer to the peak of the entire server. The early advantage built by spending money would quickly fade after level 5. Anyone who wanted to stay ahead would have to keep throwing money into the game without end. But if someone relied on pure technique to level up, then in reality, an ordinary iron sword was already enough. A straight sword did not have the wild brutality of an axe-type weapon. Its damage numbers were not as flashy as staff-based spells either, and it could not match the suppressive power of a spear. But these rookie players had not yet realized that the seemingly ordinary sword was the weapon that truly tested extreme skill. Lin Jie's original plan had been to choose grip enhancement at the start, claim a crude iron sword from Otelet, then head outside the town to kill monsters and begin leveling. But this time, he had unexpectedly received a hidden reward from Otelet, the initial talent stone. Everything had changed. Nothing was following the path of his previous life anymore. If he made completely different choices in this life, would the story itself move in a different direction? Could the final ending also be rewritten? Bailey Chumcheng. Before meeting him again, Lin Jie had to become even stronger. This time, he would rewrite the ending of his previous life with his own hands. When Lin Jie arrived near the town gate, he happened to see a vendor hawking beginner equipment. A passing player casually picked up a wooden club from the stall and said lazily, "Let me see what kind of junk you're selling." "It's all worthless scrap." Before the words had even fully left his mouth, he tossed the wooden club onto the ground. Lin Ji bent down and picked up the discarded wooden club. This club's main attack method was clearly striking, and the system classified it as a hammer-type weapon. Strangely enough, however, it also carried a sword-type mark. The vendor turned pale with fear and quickly bowed again and again to the troublemaking player. "Please have mercy on me. I'm only a life skiller. Selling equipment is my only source of income." The player sneered. "A life skiller? Isn't that just a coward who doesn't even dare to fight? How funny. People like you should go back to playing house instead of standing around in the game and annoying me." Lin Jie slowly stepped forward. "Life skillers are players too. No one is more noble than anyone else. Without the buff food cooked by chefs, the recovery potions made by alchemists, and the sharp weapons forged by blacksmiths, 90% of combat players probably wouldn't even make it past the town gate." Then, Lin Ji turned to the vendor. "How much for this wooden club?" The vendor said quietly, "Just 1 copper coin." The player who had caused trouble immediately leaned in with a face full of contempt. "And who the hell do you think you are?" Lin Jie replied coldly. "Warrior, Lin Jie." Then, he turned back to the vendor. "I'll take this wooden club." It was almost as if fate had arranged it. The 1 copper coin Balai had paid as compensation was exactly enough to buy this wooden club. The player suddenly shouted, "You actually dared to ruin my fun just now? Didn't you see I was doing the good deed?" Lin Jie swept him with a cold glance. "You call bullying the weak a good deed?" The player sneered. "What an idiot. You're getting scammed and you're thanking him for it. That broken wooden club is trash. Nobody would even pick up off the ground. You still don't get it? This merchant is a fraud." After saying that, he swaggered away while still cursing under his breath. "That kind of garbage would dirty my shoe if I stepped on it. Serves you right for getting scammed." But Lin Jie knew very well that the blacksmith shop in the newbie village was packed with wooden clubs just like this. Even if they were given away for free, nobody would spare them a second glance. Clueless rookies often fell for the cheap price and spent 1 copper coin to buy one. Back when the game first launched, this had been one of the most infamous newbie traps. But Lin Jie was no clueless rookie who had just stepped into the game. He was the undying war god, who had once handled thousands of divine weapons with his bare hands. His sense of touch would never be wrong. This wooden club had both sword and hammer properties, and a normal weapon classification system would never allow that kind of overlap, unless this was actually an unidentified divine weapon. Even if he could not appraise it yet, using it as a sword would already be more than enough. Just then, a server-wide announcement suddenly exploded. "World Quest Demon Terror Offensive has been triggered. Objective: defend the gate of Meltown, stop the demon terrors from breaking through the line, and protect the town's guardian crystal. Meltown stood on the front line of the Era continent, one of the areas most brutally ravaged by the plague calamity. Because of that, the level 2 monster zone outside the North Gate constantly spawned demon terrors with extremely high attack power, and their numbers never seemed to end. In his previous life, 1 year after Era's public beta, Meltown permanently vanished from the game map. Most likely, it had fallen completely during this terrifying assault by the Demon Terror army. When Lin Ji reached the North Gate, the town guard immediately blocked his path. Please stop. Although the situation is urgent, we do not recommend that a beginner adventurer head to the North Gate right now. You should first eliminate low-level monsters near the other 3 gates, raise your level, and then return. Lin Ji replied calmly, "No need to worry, let me through. I know what I'm doing." The guard continued trying to persuade him. "Once you leave the town gate, you will lose all beginner protection mechanisms. Even higher-level adventurers do not dare go there recklessly." Lin Ji walked straight toward the gate. "It's fine." At that moment, a system notification sounded. "You have displayed courage. Your reputation in Meltown has increased by 100 points. Your reputation level in Meltown has reached friendly." Era had a hidden rules system that encouraged players to challenge their limits. If an NPC judged that a player was attempting high difficulty content, their favorability would rise, and it could even unlock hidden quests. "Brave adventurer, since you insist on going, may I ask you for one thing?" Lance, the captain of the gate guards, quickly walked over. The system interface flashed again, entering side quest. The guard captain's request. Lin Ji understood immediately. Everything was going exactly as he had expected. He had successfully triggered the side quest, the guard captain's request, and the system had actually given him a special quest that normally required level 3 or above. Even though he was only level 1, Lance began explaining the mission. 3 of my men are trapped in the camp of the demon terror leader, Chanter Griffin. I hope you can help me bring back their bodies, so at least they can have a proper burial. Challenging content above one's level could not only bring rewards beyond imagination, but might even change the doomed fate of Meltown. Lin Ji looked up at Lance. "What you need is not a funeral, Guard Captain Lance. Chanter Griffin, the noob killer. There was only one way to truly end this dungeon. A player far below the dungeon's level requirement had to defeat him personally. Because of that, before the fight, Lin Ji had to control his level and avoid leveling out as much as possible. With his deep understanding of the boss mechanics and the top-tier techniques he had forged in his previous life, he was fully confident that he could challenge this godlike boss while still at level 1. Lance looked at him in disbelief. "You actually know my name?" Lin Jia gazed toward the forest outside the town, where black fog churned in the distance. "I will personally rescue your men from Chanter Griffin, and I will save all of Meltown from Griffin's hands. Get ready for a grand celebration." Lance was stunned. "No, that is impossible. Unless a miracle appears, they are destined to die there. Please stick to what you can handle, and wait for Chanter Griffin to leave with his army." Lin Jie suddenly cut him off. "Then you can relax, because I am that miracle. Right now, I may have nothing, but in this life, I will use my own hands to completely rewrite the course of fate." After buying his weapon, Lin Jie arrived outside Meltown's North Gate. At the edge of the forest, countless tombstones were already standing in silence. A faint smile appeared on Lin Jie's lips. This thrill of walking on the edge of death finally brought back the blood-pumping feeling he had missed. Era had always been famous for its brutal difficulty. Every stage hid deadly traps carefully designed by the developers. But the more dangerous the challenge, the greater the rewards after clearing it. That was exactly why players all over the world kept throwing themselves into the game. Not far away, a 4-player squad was gathered together, discussing tactics. What they needed most right now was a tank who could soak up damage. Lim Jae walked past them without changing his expression. For ordinary players, teaming up was indeed the safest way to explore early content, and he understood that better than anyone. But someone in the squad suddenly recognized him and immediately mocked him in a sarcastic tone. Well, isn't this the idiot who got scammed? What's wrong? Still holding on to that precious wooden club of yours? Lin Jie did not even slow down. He kept walking without looking back. He had no interest in wasting even a shred of energy on such childish provocation. But another knight in the squad suddenly stepped forward and blocked his path. Hey, Rooty Warrior. Don't tell me you're actually going to solo these monsters. Just look at that garbage gear. He's obviously a total newbie. Once he dies and crawls back here, he'll probably beg us to carry him. A level 1 warrior using a wooden club would only drag the team down, right boss? Lin Jae knew very well that teaming up could reduce the danger of early exploration, but it also greatly diluted the rewards. Killing a monster solo gave 5 times more rewards than killing one in a party. As long as he was strong enough, Joining a team was simply not worth it. He casually pushed the knight out of his way. The man could not resist at all, and immediately stumbled before collapsing to the ground. That knight looked bulky, but he was shockingly fragile. Lin Jie saw through the trick at a glance. If he guessed right, this guy's starting talent was Punishment Flame. The holy flames burning around his body looked intimidating. But the cost was a 2-point reduction in strength, and his defense became paper thin. In other words, he had voluntarily given up the core ability that allowed a knight to charge into battle. Lin Jie could not help letting out a cold laugh. A glass cannon knight who only knows how to hide behind his team. So you're just a complete coward. But no one expected that the knight had deliberately drawn the demon terror's attention. He forced the monster's aggro to lock onto Lin Jie, then sneered. Didn't see that coming, did you, rookie warrior? The demon terror is about to give you a free teleport back to town. Lin Jie chuckled inwardly. Using a monster to kill someone else? This bastard was at least a little smarter than Balai. Not much, but he had some brains. Yet, Lin Jie did not retreat. Instead, he charged straight toward the incoming demon terror. A single level 2 demon terror was not enough to make him angry. It could push the quest forward and serve as a warm-up at the same time. The squad members were all waiting to see him die miserably. Why isn't he running? He must be scared stiff. But in the next second, all of them froze, relying on the experience from his previous life. Lin Jie perfectly predicted the demon terror's attack path. With smooth, fluid movement, he slipped past a fatal strike. Battle intent surged in his chest. A true warrior could only break past his limits on the edge of death. Only by forcing himself into desperate situations could he sharpen the edge of an undying war god. Only by challenging his limits again and again could he reach the true peak in this life. Lin Jie pulled out the wooden club he had bought in the newbie village for 1 copper coin. Facing the demon terror's charge head-on, he smashed the club hard into its skull. Hit me harder, idiot. That strike completely ignited the demon terror's rage. It let out a deafening roar and directly triggered its berserk effect, increasing its attack power by 50%. A player in the squad cried out in shock. That's the monster's charged attack. Charging forward right now is straight up suicide, you idiot. Lin Jie, however, dodged the demon terror's attacks with ease while calculating rapidly in his head. His current damage still was not enough to finish it in one clean combo. He needed to get even closer. Once the distance between them shrank to the absolute limit, Lin Jie raised his wooden club without hesitation and thrust it straight toward the demon terror's throat. His footwork was agile, and his attack angles were viciously precise. Every strike landed at the exact moment the demon terror began its cast animation, forcefully interrupting it. Then he charged his strength and delivered a lethal blow, pushing himself to the limit, then breaking through it again and again. That was the real way to play Era. A crisp system notification immediately rang out. Solo kill, Demon Terror Warrior. Experience plus 100, copper coins plus 5. Taking down a demon terror alone with nothing but a broken wooden club was not something a level 1 rookie should have been capable of. It had to be luck. He must have landed critical hits again and again. Otherwise, there was simply no explanation. The squad leader, Rex, stepped forward with interest in his eyes. Not bad, man. You must have played Era during the closed beta, right? There's no way someone pulls off moves like that without hundreds of hours of practice. How about joining our party? We just happened to need another expert. Lin Jie was crouched on the ground, looting the demon terror's drops. He did not even look up. Not interested. Rex refused to give up and took another step forward. If you're heading down this road, you're probably going after Chanter Griffin too, right? The dungeon guide clearly recommends a 5-player party. Our team already has 4 people. We're missing exactly 1. Before he even finished speaking, he sent Lin Jie a party invitation. Then Rex raised one finger and added, "We split the dungeon rewards 50-50. Lin Jie said calmly, 5 players is only the recommended party size for Chanter Griffin. It's not a hard requirement. Rex stared at him in disbelief. Don't tell me you're actually planning to solo a team dungeon. Personal skill alone won't be enough for something like this. Listen carefully. Griffin's first clear reward includes a limited title and legacy-grade equipment. Right now, at least 20 teams across the entire server are eyeing this dungeon, and our team has the highest chance of getting the first kill. Letting you join is already giving you an opportunity. When Griffin enters Phase 2, he summons multiple elite monsters at once. Without a tank in front, the whole party will get wiped instantly." A faint smile hung at the corner of Lin Jie's mouth as he looked over them. "So what you really need is an unlucky tank who can take a beating. And I just happen to be a warrior, is that it?" Rex hurriedly waved his hands. With a serious face, he defended himself. "You've got it wrong. We genuinely recognize your strength. Your skill level is more than enough to join our top-tier team. We're absolutely not inviting you just because we need a tank. But Lin Jie had already seen through their intentions. They simply wanted a sacrificial pawn to draw the boss's aggro and take all the damage for the entire party. Even so, Lin Jie still clicked confirm and accepted the party invitation, because he knew better than anyone that a dungeon boss's strength and drops would change in real time, based on the number of participants. If a full 5-player party entered the fight, the boss would activate its complete combat form. Once defeated, it would definitely drop its exclusive first kill reward. More importantly, once the hidden quest was completed, Chanter Grissom would disappear from the game forever, and his exclusive drops would become truly unobtainable items. In this life, if Lin Jie wanted to become the strongest player on the entire server, this reward would be the most important stepping stone during his early progression. He absolutely could not miss this one and only chance to obtain that limited reward. Before long, the 5-player party finally reached the entrance to Chanter Griffin's dungeon. By the time they arrived, Lin Ji had already cleared every trash mob outside the dungeon entrance by himself. Rex and the others followed slowly behind him, still muttering under their breath. What a brainless guy. He doesn't even know how to save his strength before entering a dungeon. Does he have any idea how precious early game potions are? According to players' statistics, even killing 100 monsters might only drop 2 copper coins, let alone a piece of green equipment. Aside from the items gifted in pay-to-win packs, ordinary players had almost no chance of getting gear like that. However, no one noticed that the wooden club in Lin Ji's hand was resonating faintly with the weapon dropped by the monster on the ground. The moment Lin Jie lowered his head to examine the wooden club, a system notification suddenly rang inside his mind. The wooden club is searching for a suitable host. Hawk, the knight in the party, stepped forward. Stop wasting your time. Players can't use weapons dropped by monsters. Those are called unlootable drops. If people could just pick up monster weapons and sell them, market prices would crash 100-fold on the first day of launch. But Lin Ji bent down without hesitation and picked up the short blade dropped by the monster. Was this wooden club trying to fuse with monster equipment? The instant he touched the wooden club to the short blade, the 2 weapons actually began to merge. The system notification rang out again. Branch of the World Tree is fusing with the weapon. Obtained Demon Terror's curved blade. Weapon attributes applies bleed on critical hits. Crit rate reduced by 99%. Attack +10, strength +1. The moment Lin Jie heard the system prompt, his entire body trembled slightly. Branch of the World Tree. This was a top-tier divine artifact he had once seen at a server-wide auction 3 years later. It could transform into different forms depending on the terrain and the user, but its most basic form was always that plain, unremarkable wooden stick. The core ability of this legacy-grade artifact was that it functioned as an all-purpose sword capable of adapting to any weapon. In the end, this artifact had sold at auction for the sky-high price of 100 million. Lin Jie never dreamed that he would obtain this legendary artifact on the very first day of the game's launch. During the early stages of the game, players could only use the most basic white equipment, and many even had to fight barehanded. Yet even the lowest level monsters often carried green quality weapons. The gap in equipment strength between the 2 sides was not even close. But with the branch of the World Tree, Lin Ji could directly take weapons from monsters and upgrade his gear at 0 cost. Before long, the 5-player party had pushed deep into the dungeon. 3 soldiers, under Guard Captain Lance, were locked in a fierce battle with the level 5 boss, Chanter Griffin. They fought for the honor of the town, determined to defend Meltown's final line, no matter the cost. Rex immediately stopped Lin Ji. Don't go over yet. This is the boss battle cutscene. We have to wait until the animation ends before joining the fight. He calculated silently in his head. In a few more seconds, those 3 NPCs would be crushed by a heavy hammer strike. After that, Griffin would enter a brief recovery state, and both his aggression and damage would drop noticeably. Then Rex turned and gave orders to the other party members. When I shout go, everyone attacks together. But Lin Jie had no interest in his plan at all. Sorry, but I'm not here to watch cutscenes. Right after that, Lin Jie shouted toward the 3 soldiers on the battlefield. Stop fighting and retreat immediately. Guard Captain Lance is waiting for you to return safely to Meltown. Rex's expression froze on the spot. The soldiers on the battlefield heard the shout, stopped attacking, and turned around. Since this was a support party sent by their captain, they were naturally willing to obey the order. Lin Jie calmly stepped into the core of the battlefield. He knew very well that the cutscene could be forcibly interrupted. But once a player skipped the scene, the boss would show even more violent hostility and lock on to the first character who entered the battlefield. As for Lin Jie, his fighting style had always been simple. Start the fight directly. One of the party members could not help shouting in shock. Is this guy insane? He just pulled the boss without saying anything. Rex immediately ordered, everyone get out of the boss's aggro range now, let him go die by himself. Lin Ji swung the curved blade in his hand and faced the boss head-on. Normally, pulling aggro should have been the job of a defensive warrior. But this time, Lin Ji was not being reckless for no reason. He had a reason he had to do this. The timeline had already changed, which meant the quest progression could also be rewritten. And in this life, Lin Jie himself was the key variable that would disrupt the timeline and rewrite fate. Meanwhile, Rex and the others had already retreated to a safe area and were whispering among themselves. We tricked several sacrificial idiots into testing the boss's skills before. Now we just wait for the boss to kill this warrior and enter its first recovery phase. Then we rush in and steal the first kill reward. Boss, according to the system rules, party rewards are split evenly. That kid will take a share of our EXP and loot. Don't worry, I won't let him take even the smallest advantage. While Lin Jie was still fighting, he suddenly received a system notification saying Rex had kicked him out of the party. But his heart did not waver at all, just as expected. These people had been using newbies as cannon fodder to weaken the boss, because they firmly believed that Chanter Griffin, a boss even a 5-player party could barely defeat, could never be beaten by a level 1 rookie alone. Unfortunately for them, they had completely miscalculated this time. Lin Jie suddenly leaped into the air. Battle intent burned in his eyes like fire. He had never been some rookie. He was Lin Jie, a warrior who had clawed his way back from the depths of hell, covered in blood. In the next instant, the roar of clashing metal exploded across the battlefield, as if the air itself had been shattered. Rex stared at the center of the battlefield in shock. What was that sound just now? It was like a sonic boom, like it was about to tear space apart. Lin Ji's attacks grew more and more savage. He was relying on the special effect of Sword Oath. As long as the player equipped a sword-type weapon, their attack power would receive a massive boost. In just a few exchanges, he had already carved away nearly half of Griffin's health. Griffin let out a deafening roar, and its entire body was instantly wrapped in deep purple energy as it completed its form transformation. It swung that terrifying giant hammer and smashed it down toward Lin Ji's position. As the hammer came crashing down, Lin Ji still stood firmly in place, showing no intention of dodging. The party members watching from the side were completely stunned. Is this guy insane? He's actually trying to tank a boss's ultimate attack? He's dead for sure. Get ready, everyone. It's about to be our turn. Smoke and dust rolled across the battlefield, but when the dust slowly cleared, Lin Jie was still standing there without moving an inch. The curved blade in his hand had actually blocked Griffin's giant hammer head-on. Rex blurted out in disbelief. That's impossible. How could a level 1 warrior block a lethal strike like that? Lin Jie knew very well that blocking this hammer had never been about luck. The lowest resource investment, the harshest self-discipline, and the most extreme training conditions had forged his unique path as a powerful ordinary player. And beyond that, the true key was his starting talent, grip enhancement. As long as he gripped his weapon tightly enough, he could use his sword like a shield to block attacks. In this life, he would seize the second chance as firmly as he held the sword in his hand. Lin Jie trusted his blade just as much as he trusted himself. He suddenly exerted his strength and forcefully held back Griffin's descending hammer. Then, Lin Ji sprang upward. The edge of his blade went straight for Griffin's vital point. Die, Griffin. In an instant, Griffin's massive body crashed to the ground and went completely still. The system notification rang out. You have successfully killed Chanter Griffin. Level gap kill against level 5 boss Chanter Griffin. Experience bonus 500%. Obtain 2,350 experience points. Level increased to level 2. Despite his unbelievably fierce display, that brutal fight had completely drained Lin Ji's stamina. With his current stats, taking a powerful boss attack head-on should have been almost impossible. Thanks to the warrior class's natural health bonus, he had barely survived. At this moment, Lin Jie had exactly 1 HP left. Rex and his group stood frozen in place. Did all of that really just happen? Griffin had been completely killed before its second phase even began. System notifications rang out one after another. Limited time quest completed. Congratulations, you are the first player in all of Era to kill Chanter Griffin. Meltown reputation increased by 200 points. Your reputation level in Meltown has been raised to revered. Chanter Griffin has been killed by a level 1 player, completing the achievement For Whom the Bell Tolls. Chanter Griffin and his demon terror forces will permanently disappear from the world of Era. Meltown has returned to peace. As the system notification ended, Griffin's massive body suddenly collapsed and turned into a field of glittering loot. Rex and his crew were so furious, they were practically grinding their teeth. That guy definitely used some game exploit to win. You three, hurry up and pick up all the loot on the ground. We entered the dungeon together, so even if we didn't join the fight, We should still get most of the rewards, but when Hawk bent down to pick up the gold coins, he realized they were impossibly heavy, as if they were welded to the ground. Boss, I can't pick them up. The system says I don't have looting rights. What do you mean, no permission? Why the hell can't I pick them up? Only then did Rex remember that Chanter Griffin had been defeated entirely by Lin Ji alone, and he himself had just kicked Lin Ji out of the party. In other words, the loot had absolutely nothing to do with them anymore. Lin Jia's gaze finally landed on a small golden item. Griffin's exclusive drop was actually this delicate and compact treasure. Legacy-grade artifact. Chanter Griffin's Golden Bell. After use, it releases a massive bell chime and grants Golden Bell protection, blocking one powerful instance of damage. When the Golden Bell shatters, it knocks back nearby attackers, limited to 1 use per day. The instant Lin Jie confirmed that he was looting the Golden Bell, all the remaining loot on the ground was collected into his inventory as well. Hawk's eyes turned red with envy. Those drops should have belonged to us. Why does he get to take everything alone? Rex said coldly, Hawk, calm down. Even if he took all the loot, it doesn't matter. According to Era's treasure plunder system, when a player dies, they drop everything they obtained within the past 24 hours. That means if we kill him right now, every reward from Griffin will still belong to us. Hawk still sounded worried. But boss, that warrior killed Chanter Griffin all by himself. His strength is way too hard to judge. The hunter in the squad quickly activated Hawkeye to scout him, then let out a disdainful sneer. What's there to be afraid of? This guy is badly injured. He only has 3% health left. Any random skill that grazes him will kill him. Rex immediately gave the order. Brothers, flag for PvP. Today, Lin Jie doesn't leave this place alive. Meanwhile, Lin Jie was playing with the money pouch in his hand and muttering to himself, killing one boss earned me 100 copper coins. Not to mention all these precious alchemy materials. Right now, 1 copper coin sells for 12,000 on the black market. This pouch alone is worth 1.2 million. Today really was a huge payday. Just then, Rex appeared behind him. Well, congratulations, you got played like a fool, but at least you proved you've got a little skill. Lin Jie swept his cold gaze over Rex and the others as they slowly approached. You betrayed our cooperation and kicked me out of the party on your own. It's far too late to apologize now. Rex put on a fake innocent expression. No. We stayed out of it because we trusted your strength. Look, you really did beat 5-player Chanter Griffin all by yourself. Honestly, that's impressive. Rex took 2 steps forward with a smile that did not reach his eyes. But no matter how you look at it, we deserve part of the credit too, don't we? We already know your situation. This is where your run ends. Listen carefully. The people you're dealing with are the infamous Rex villain crew. Our rules are simple. We hunt monsters, and we hunt humans. We cooperate when we want, and we betray whenever we feel like it. And you, Lin Jie, it's time to hand over everything you have. Before his words even fully landed, an arrow flew past Lin Ji's ear. It was the hunter's signature skill, Hawkeye. The skill greatly increased shooting accuracy and was almost guaranteed to hit in open terrain. That arrow had clearly been missed on purpose. Lin Ji said coldly, "What's that supposed to mean?" Rex revealed a savage grin. "You still don't get it? I don't just want all the equipment dropped by Chanter Griffin. I want that broken wooden club in your hand, the clothes on your back, even your underwear stripped off. Then kneel and offer everything to me, and maybe we'll spare your life. I want you crawling out of Sinner's Hill butt naked, so the entire server can see what a joke you are. Ha ha ha. A naked warrior without a single copper coin to his name, thinking you can hit the big time just because you got lucky with a boss mechanic? In the end, you're just a pathetic bottom feeder." A cold smile rose at the corner of Lin Ji's mouth. He slowly tightened his grip around the curved blade in his hand. "Since we're dropping the act, the answer is no. At most, you're just a speck of dust on my road to growth. I'll crush you without effort and keep moving forward. I probably won't even remember when or where I stepped on you. If you've got the guts, come take my life, Rex. I've been waiting for this." Rex and his crew stood with their hands on their hips, glaring at Lin Jie with vicious eyes. "Interesting, you're almost dead already. I'd love to see what you can still use to fight back." Before his words even faded, Rex barked the order to kill Lin Jie. Archer, the hunter in the squad, instantly activated Hawkeye and drew his longbow to a full arc. Several cold streaks tore through the air, all flying straight for Lin Jie's vital points. Lin Jie calmly raised the golden relic he had just obtained and activated the power of this legendary item. In an instant, the arrows slammed into the golden bell barrier, erupting with a deafening boom. Rolling dust swept across the entire battlefield. Rex and the others stared at the glowing golden bell with clenched teeth. Damn it. That's the legacy-grade artifact from killing Griffin. Hawk immediately turned to Rex. What exactly does the golden bell do? Is it an invincibility effect? Wrapped in brilliant golden light, Lin Jie spoke calmly. His voice pierced through the dust and reached them clearly. Of course it isn't invincibility. It just buys me 1 second to catch my breath. Hawk sneered with contempt. What can 1 second even do? Dead is dead, either way. Lin Jie looked at them indifferently. Because upgrading and strengthening his skill only takes 1 second. Once I'm done, it'll be more than enough time to teach you bastards a lesson. The moment he finished speaking, Lin Jie used his free skill point without hesitation. The system notification rang sharply in his ear. Consumed 1 free skill point. Learned warrior exclusive skill, Death Gasp. Skill effect. When a warrior is in a desperate situation, Death Gasp may be activated to restore a small amount of temporary health. If the user is near death or surrounded by enemies, it will restore a large amount of health. In the next instant, Lin Jie's health bar shot back to full, even breaking past his current health limit. Archer's eyes widened in disbelief. His health completely recovered? How the hell did he do that? Lin Jie swept his gaze over them with contempt, a chilling smile rising at the corner of his mouth. Gentlemen, would you like to experience the power of hell for yourselves? Meiji, the mage, screamed at his teammates. Don't let him scare you. He's bluffing. Focus fire, and kill him now. But before his words could fully fade, Lin Jie had already launched the first attack. In the blink of an eye, Lin Jie's iron fist smashed heavily into Archer's face. As dust exploded from that punch, the squad members froze in place, as if they had been struck by lightning. Was that really speed and strength a human could reach? With nothing but his bare hands, he had killed Archer outright. What they did not know was that grip enhancement had a hidden effect. When the player was not using a weapon, it triggered bare-handed combat enhancement. Rex snapped his head toward Meiji and shouted urgently, "Quick, use Ice Burst to lock him down." Meiji immediately raised his arm and began chanting. In the next moment, countless sharp ice spikes erupted from the ground, freezing Lin Jie in place. Hawk gripped his iron sword and leaped into the air. "I've been sick of looking at you for a while now. This ice will be your grave. Die." But just as Hawk's iron sword was about to fall, Lin Jie suddenly exerted force and shattered the ice binding his body. He shifted to the side with perfect timing, completely avoiding the lethal strike. Then, Lin Jie's right fist gathered power. A heavy punch smashed straight into Hawk's chest. Meiji stared at the scene in stunned disbelief. How is that possible? My ice burst failed to hold him. Lin Jie glanced coldly at Meiji, his voice calm but filled with overwhelming confidence. As long as your strength stat is high enough, you can break out of crowd control. Ice magic at your level is nothing more than a cheap trick to me. Meiji's eyes widened as he stared at Lin Jie. Your stats should have been cut in half because of your injuries. How can you still have enough strength? Wait. When he noticed the surging battle aura wrapped around Lin Jie's body, he finally realized this did not look like someone whose stats had dropped at all. Meiji suddenly turned back. Archer, use Hawkeye and check his stats. But Lin Jie had already begun walking toward him. Don't waste your breath. That hunter was sent back to the respawn point by my punch just now. Did you forget already? Meiji looked at Lin Jie and completely lost his composure. He screamed incoherently, "Hacks. It has to be hacks. You're definitely cheating, you shameless hacker." The moment the word hacks entered Lin Jie's ears, his pupils abruptly contracted. A dull pain pulsed through his chest. The image of Bailey Chongchun using hacks to backstab him in the final battle of his previous life surged through his mind like a flood. Lin Jie suddenly reached out and clamped down on Meiji's wrist, his voice carrying anger suppressed to the breaking point. Only cowards who abandon everything they once trusted would choose that path of no return. I, Lin Jie, will never fall that low. Trash like you can't win, so you accuse others instead. It's laughable. His grip kept tightening, and Meiji screamed in agony, begging again and again. I surrender. Please don't kill me. I'll leave Rex's criminal gang right now. But Lin Jie only stared at him coldly and squeezed out 4 words. It's too late. With that, he pushed grip enhancement to its limit, lifted Meiji with one hand, and hurled him hard into the rock wall behind them. Just then, Rex suddenly stepped forward. A savage smile appeared on his face. Interesting. You just threw away your final advantage with your own hands. Your class is warrior, so of course I know how you pulled off those ridiculous moves through class traits. Warriors only unleash terrifying combat power when they're trapped in desperate situations, especially when they're surrounded by multiple enemies. Rex's tone grew even more smug, but the surrounded state requires at least 3 enemies to activate. Right now, I'm the only one left here. Your last stand effect won't trigger. and your little tricks end here. Lin Jie slowly drew his curved blade, his voice calm yet filled with killing intent. That's right. So this time, I'll send you back to town fair and square with this sword. But in the next second, Rex's battle intent surged wildly. A blinding purple-black aura erupted around him, and a twisted smile of certain victory spread across his face. Looks like you still don't understand the situation, Lin Jie. My assassin class is a duelist class built specifically for one-on-one combat. The one with the advantage now is me. This time, there's no escape for you. In an instant, Rex's short blade clashed against Lin Jie's curved blade, several times in a row. Lin Jie knew very well that the most dangerous part of the assassin class was the trait called weak point assault. Once it landed, it would stack a continuous bleed debuff. He blocked Rex's attacks while rapidly calculating a countermeasure in his mind. Rex's smile grew more vicious. Your moves are good, I'll give you that, but close quarters combat is my absolute domain. As long as an assassin's attack even grazes you, those layered debuffs will slowly devour you. Stop struggling. Before long, you'll be kneeling on the ground, begging me to finish you off. At that moment, Lin Jie tightened both hands around his curved blade. In the next instant, he erupted with shocking power and slashed out a razor-sharp wave of sword aura. Rex stared at the crack carved into the wall, cold sweat instantly forming on his forehead. He never expected this guy to still have such terrifying killing power after having his stats cut in half. The early game strength advantage of warriors really could not be underestimated. But so what? Once this turned into a drawn-out fight, Lin Jie would definitely lose. But before Rex could finish that thought, Lin Jie had already lunged at him like a tiger. Who said I was going to drag this out, idiot? Rex did not even have time to put up a defense before he opened his eyes again beside the resurrection crystal. A cold system notification rang in his ears. You have been killed by warrior Lin Jie and have received a level penalty. Your level has dropped from level 3 to level 2. The nearby players, watching the scene, instantly burst into laughter. Rex was furious and humiliated. He roared on the spot. You dare laugh at me? Archer hurriedly stepped forward and reminded him. Boss, your clothes and equipment were all looted from others, and you hadn't owned them for 24 hours yet. Only then did Rex realize he was completely naked. Trembling with rage, he screamed hysterically toward the outside of the resurrection point. Lin Jie, you actually humiliated me in public. Just you wait. This isn't over. Meanwhile, Hawk had just woken up from unconsciousness. He rubbed his dazed head and looked around, secretly relieved. Good thing he was afraid of pain and put all his stats into defense. Otherwise, he would have been sent back to town in one hit too. Where did everyone else go? Suddenly, he saw Lin Jie's figure. Hawk immediately trembled in fear and hurriedly raised his greatsword, backing away step by step. But Lin Jie merely walked past him calmly. Do me a favor and bring Rex's clothes back to him. And tell Rex one more thing. If I run into you people again, I'll kill you until your levels drop to 0. Only after Lin Jie's figure had completely disappeared did Hawk finally let out a long breath. What kind of terrifying strength was that? It could no longer be measured by ordinary stats. That pressure felt like the arrival of death itself, like a warrior who had returned from hell. Just then, a crisp system notification rang in Lin Jie's ears. You bravely resisted malicious PvP and have received a large reputation reward. Meltown reputation increased by 300. Your reputation in Meltown has reached the highest level. Exalted. Legendary status in Meltown unlocked. NPCs will actively pledge loyalty and follow you. The town will build an exclusive statue for you and unlock special hidden story privileges exclusive to Meltown. A faint smile appeared on Lin Jie's lips. Being betrayed by teammates was never a good thing, but getting this much reputation out of it was not a bad deal. Time to return to town and recover. The moment Lin Jie stepped back into Meltown, soldiers were already lined up on both sides of the street, bowing in unison as they awaited his return. Faced with this sudden scene, Lin Jie could not help freezing for a moment, filled with confusion. What was going on now? At that moment, a system notification echoed across the world. Congratulations to player Lin Jie for obtaining the legacy title, Blade of Dawn. Please accept the highest honor from Meltown. The other players in town instantly exploded. What's going on? NPCs are bowing to a player? What is Blade of Dawn? Could it be something only a Platinum VIP can unlock? But with that trash warrior class nobody wants to play, how could he possibly afford Platinum VIP? Lin Jie looked at the title notification in front of him. In an instant, he remembered a sealed piece of history he had once seen in a dungeon during his previous life. Blade of Dawn was one of the 8 legacy titles that had been promoted most heavily before the game launched, Each title represented a heroic epic from the history of Era's world. The developers had hinted several times that these titles were not just background lore, they were very likely the highest honor rewards for hidden achievements. Yet since launch, no one had ever been heard of obtaining even one of them. One of the 8 great legacy titles, Blade of Dawn, had actually been obtained early by him in Meltown, a mere newbie village. This was an unbelievable, unexpected gain. The soldiers on both sides of the street shouted in unison, "Welcome back in triumph, Lord Blade of Dawn."